Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great America Show. It's great to have you with us. Thanks so much for being with us today. There's so much going on in the world right now and so much going wrong at the same time. We have an out-of-control southern border, a foreign policy from the Biden regime that has just been so unimaginable, inflation through the roof, and an economy that is teetering. The list really just goes on. Not only are we worse off financially now than we were 4 years ago, but we are far less safe as a nation. Iran is funding and sponsoring proxy attacks on Israel each day that goes by, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris sit back and wait for it to hit here at home. Anyone who thinks that Iran's ultimate plan isn't to wipe America off the face of the earth is not living in reality right now, and we may be watching it happen right before our very eyes. Our wide open southern border leaves us very vulnerable for anything to happen to us, and it should scare the hell out of each and every one of us. To take up what's happening abroad and right here at home, our guest today is Rob O'Neill. He's a retired Navy SEAL, once serving on the elite SEAL Team 6, which of course conducted the raid on Osama bin Laden and killing him. He's now the host of the Operator podcast. That's available to you wherever you get your podcasts. Rob, thanks so much for joining us here on the Great America Show today. I want to start. I mean, there's so much stuff going on in the world, and nobody knows the world better than you with all the work you've done in the military and then back here at home. We find out last week from an ex-Border Patrol chief that the Harris-Biden administration knowingly allowed terrorists into this country and then told this chief to cover it up. If that's not impeachable and I mean the worst things possible you could have done in this country with everything going on right now, with what we watched happen in Israel on October 7th, I mean, can you tell me anything worse?
Well, that's treason with a capital T right there. They're letting him in. Letting him in is bad. Covering it up is even worse. And then when they get known terrorists in there and they don't have enough room for wherever, they just put them on a plane twice a week and fly them to Texas. And it's disturbing to me in so many ways because I've seen what these I hate saying animals. We talked before the show how we love animals. What these terrorists can do, what they're capable of, and what their mindset is. And I'll let the listener's mind go just wander a little here because I don't want to describe it. But imagine if 4 of these dudes got into your house with your family, you're unarmed, and they're just there. What are they going to do to you? Your alarm's not going off. No one knows you're inside. What are they going to do to your family in front of you? What are they going to make you watch before they get rid of you very, very slowly? And that's what happened on October 7th. And what's worse than that is a lot of the people in this government, I hate to say this government, this machine here, they say, oh, no, those were lies. Didn't happen. No, they didn't do that. I've seen what these people are capable of, and it's horrifying. So for them just to let them cross the border willy-nilly, it's almost like if we could go back to 9/12/2001 and ask New Yorkers, hey, this is going to happen in a couple of decades. There's no way they would allow this in. I can't believe we just got attacked. We're never going to forget. And now we've forgotten. Not only we've forgotten, we lie about it just so someone else can get reelected or newly elected or anything like that. It's disgusting politics. And we're seriously playing with, we've already got people getting raped and murdered and both. And, just towns being taken over simply because some people don't want Donald Trump to show everyone what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, at the debate a few weeks ago, President Trump brought up the incident in Aurora, Colorado with Tren de Agua. And, you've heard from some people, saying that we should, and terrorist organizations perhaps better than anybody, that we should designate these people as terrorist organizations, these cartels, because they're literally governments in themselves, these cartels. I mean, a full structure running government. And the head leader isn't just like, a sitting head president. That's the kingpin killer. I mean, worse than any mob gang we've seen, I think, ever in this country, perhaps in the world. But you had the moderator, and the media is so complicit in all of this. You had the moderator, David Muir, looking at Trump saying, well, that's not true what happened in Aurora, Colorado. There's no gangs. Well, this week, Colorado police named 10 Venezuelan gang members in connection to it from Tren de Agua. Rob, they're taking over our towns, they're taking over our cities, and they have no regard whatsoever. Me and you are both from New York. You go into Manhattan now, and you know what you get.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it everywhere too, and it's these cartels coming in. They're highly organized, but they're extremely brutal. I mean, to the point where it's like you want to watch what you say about them because you don't want to come after you too. Yeah. These are very serious people, but it's almost like, wow, we open the borders and then we defund the police and then crime goes up when we influx with migrants. That's crazy. And I mean, the cartels are in on the border crossings, even to a point where they have their certain territory, which cartels is going to bring people over. And as soon as they start getting them in, they're going to start bringing their leadership in. They're going to start organizing now. Imagine if you live in even if you cross the border in Mexico and Tijuana, it's huge difference from San Diego to Tijuana. But if you grow up in like a third world country and you're like, wait a minute, I can go to Denver and like take over and live in the United States, and they're going to pay me to do it, and I can bring my family and still rule. And this is what's happened. If I was living like in the mountains of Afghanistan where I've been, and I found out I could come to New York City and I could do anything, anything. Yeah, I'm going to go do it. And it's like, I'm not saying, hey, good on them, but a lot of people got to realize people from different countries are not like us here. They're not going to come here. And I mean, the left doesn't even care about the Constitution, but a lot of these terrorists coming in, a lot of these cartels, they certainly do not care about the Constitution. The only thing, the Constitution that the left wants to bring up is, well, we're going to take your guns. So good. Right. Now we don't have borders. We don't have police, and I don't have any guns. What is that going to do? I mean, the end game for all of this is they want every single one of us to be dependent on the government. They're trying to expand the federal government. And even with the left, I mean, when did everyone start raging for the machine? What are they getting out of it?
It's unbelievable. And we're talking about it at the military scale. You just had a baby in the recent months, in the last year. Your child's going to have to go to school one day. There's a new report out from Chicago that school officials are telling Chicago teachers to pass all migrant students no matter their scores. From a whistleblower. The whistleblower teachers also say that they do not speak Spanish, so they had no effective way to communicate with many of the migrant kids, yet school officials told them to give every migrant at least a 70% grade, according to this whistleblower. So now they're assimilating into, we're going to look at the minor scale now, into everyday life, right? You said they're not like us. They're not. We see these Haitian migrants coming in from Springfield, Ohio, that are eating pets. They're eating ducks. They're apparently eating cats. In their country, that's what they do. I have a friend from South America. They eat guinea pigs. I make fun of them and tell them they eat rats. That's their culture. People down in Florida eat iguanas, and that's Americans.
But, there we go.
It's the assimilation now into everyday life. And what it means when you have, Rob, 20 million, the population of New York is somewhere, I mean, it's fluctuated now since COVID, but somewhere in the range of 20, 21 million people. You now have more than 20 million illegal immigrants in this country who bring kids. And now people forget what happens when you just bring in the migrants. The migrants come in and then they start reproducing and they start having kids and they have 2 kids and they have 3 kids. With birth rates now in America down, I mean, since 1950, where they were at about 25 per thousand people, they're now at about 10 per thousand people. These migrants are going to come in, they're going to start reproducing, and 2 to 3 kids for every half American. People don't realize what it's going to do to our schooling system, what it's going to do to our healthcare system. They want healthcare for all. Forget about it, Rob. What's going to happen to this country on the scale of not even these gangs taking over these cities, but just ordinary, everyday Americans who send their kids to school, who drive on streets? What's going to happen?
Well, you got to see the tactics here are like, well, we don't have enough money. Let's just print more. Oh, you can't have a diploma. Let's just print your diplomas. What's the big deal? We can do it there. And part of the issue too is a lot. I mean, I like to see if I can wear put the foot in the other shoe or whatever the hell we like to say, live someone else. A lot of our government is telling these people in different countries, hey, come to the United States, we'll pay for it, and you can work here. That's how they're getting a lot of them here. And once they get here, they realize, oh, there are no jobs. Well, my family's here. I got to do something. And that anything comes with that. Crime, eating animals, robbing people, all that stuff, it can happen. But then, I mean, I've seen it personally going to the emergency room up in New York. I was in the emergency room. I might have been, including the doctors, one of 10 people that spoke English. And I would walk over to, they got like the restaurant there, the sandwich shop. There's languages I didn't even recognize. And I don't know where they're from. And again, they're taking care of their kids too. But they get into the healthcare system. They get into the schooling system. They're in your streets. There are people in their own neighborhoods now in different cities, not just in the border states where it's not safe to drive around their community. People are getting their cars flipped while they're inside of it. So you're inviting chaos, because when it all comes down to it, culture, a lot of cultures are different. And like I said before, coming from extreme poverty into this rich country, you might just run amok.
Yeah. And you know who it's hurting, Robin, a lot of people don't talk about is the blue-collar worker, the hardworking American, the Hispanic American, the African American, who go out every day and work their blue-collar jobs. But now you have these migrants coming in who are undercutting some of these wages by 20, 30%, and you can't compete. And the thing that's, sticks out to me the most, the Teamsters Union put out their poll this last week where President Trump was absolutely stomping Kamala Harris, yet the coward of the president of the Teamsters who spoke with the RNC wouldn't endorse President Trump. Well, what does he think is going to happen to the unions when you can have workers come in for half the price? Because now, I have friends who work in blue collar jobs and own businesses and hire employees. New York, for example, I mean, the empire of the world is now starting to have non-union companies come in and start doing all their work because it's half the price. Yet this union leader who's, I won't even call him a man, sits back and watches a poll come in from his people that say they support Trump to a tune of like, I don't think it was quite 60-40, 58 or 32 or something like that. But,
yeah.
And doesn't, speak out and say, what the hell are we doing here?
A union's pretty much like any other thing. The leadership, all they care about is their own power. And they know if they keep towing the party lines that they'll stay in power and then they'll keep paying their union dues. I'll keep getting my cut. That sort of thing too. The blue collar's getting stomped here. And you got to figure when these migrant families get shipped around the country, what they're bringing with them is also federal housing vouchers, which are worth a lot more than the rent. So what's the landlord going to do? Well, I'm going to make some repairs. So find some temporary living. Oh, by the way, rent just tripled. And your taxpayer dollars are paying for these migrants to live there. The blue collar worker can't afford to live there anymore. What's he going to do? Oh, I better depend on the government. And it all keeps coming back to that. There's a reason for everything. How any blue collar worker can't see what is going on with this economy. And you've got this Harris Biden or Waltz Harris or whatever it is administration and whack-a-diddle-do wife up there screaming, turn the page. It's like, turn what page? We've been on this page for 4 years and it's gotten a lot worse. And that they're even saying, well, inflation's come down. No, it's coming down a little bit from its worst spot ever because of this administration. Right. And yet people just like, well, let me see what's on TikTok for the next 5 hours. It's unbelievable. I think I went to the grocery store the other day. I bought because it's coming. I bought paper towels, toilet paper, maybe some toothpaste, and I'm in the self checkout for 3 items, $45. And I remember looking, like I rarely check my was there a mistake? But I'm like, there's got to be no, just really expensive normal stuff.
You should have went into the bathroom of whatever store you're in Target, went to the toilet paper rolls, opened the damn thing. Taking it out and stolen every single toilet paper from the men's room. And you could have went to the ladies' room because we're in an inclusive society, right? Where there's no such thing as a man or a woman. And then you should have went to the dryers on the wall, take them off the wall and went to your house and installed them in your house. Because you know what would happen when you got home? Absolutely nothing. Because you're allowed to do that. Or maybe not because you're American. If you're an illegal, then you're allowed to do that. I want to take a quick break here, Rob. We're going to come back on the other side, continue this conversation and talk maybe some foreign policy, what's going on over in the Middle East right now.
Absolutely.
A lot going on. We're coming right back with Rob O'Neill. Stay with us. Folks, are you tired of supporting big box stores and multi-billion-dollar corporations that don't support us? Corporations that donate tens of millions of dollars a year to push woke Marxist dem ideologies? Whether it be Amazon and Jeff Bezos or Target with their transgender clothing for kids, or even Bud Light going totally woke, enough is enough. Why should we as lovers of this country continue to support these corporations? The answer is we shouldn't. I constantly get people who reach out to me and ask, John, what can we do to save this country? Where can we shop and support American-made brands and conservative ideologies? Well, we now have a solution to stop shopping at these woke companies and stop funding the deep state and a solution to buy American. This is something we can all do right now to kick the deep state in the teeth and stop funding our enemies and vote with our dollars. We have a parallel economy for around 450 household products. Not only can you cancel woke brands like Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson, you can also cancel the stores that carry them. I need you all to head over to switchwithjohn.com, that's switchwithjohn.com, where you can read all about our movement. We have access to a conservative manufacturer that will replace these brands and the stores you buy them from. It isn't an additional budget item because instead of turning right into Target or left into Walmart, you're going to shop directly online, directly with the manufacturer. Folks, this is a patriot movement that is happening right now before our eyes. Every 47 seconds, a shopper is switching to our online store, and we need you to partner with us, join us, and band together. I just canceled my Amazon Prime subscription because I've truly had enough. So what do you say? It's time to put your money where your heart is? Join us today and help save this nation. Go to switchwithjohn.com. That's switchwithjohn.com to learn how you can join thousands of other patriots and help take this nation back. SwitchWithJohn.com. We'll see you there. We're back. We're talking with former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill. Rob, a lot going on in the world. I mean, as we all know, last week we had an attack over in Lebanon, Israel, sending a few beepers over to the folks in Hezbollah. The media is not happy with Israel's attack on Hezbollah. What they don't realize is since October 8th, the day after the October 7th attack, Hezbollah sent over 7,500 rockets into Israel. Luckily, a lot of them not striking key landmarks. But how do we have a media, Rob, that's so complicit in just spewing absolute total garbage to these American people when, you have Israel over there who at any day now can be wiped off the face of the earth?
I've been trying to figure that out for a while, too, because the media is definitely in on it. I mean, I know damn well they have meetings every single day at every single building. Here are your talking points. Here's what you will not say. Stuff like, because the people, it's the tip of the pyramid. They've got a lot they've been hiding. And there's got to be some reason they've dehumanized Donald Trump to the point where there's been 2 assassination attempts. We don't really talk about him anymore because they want him gone. But because that something will come up, some corruption is going to be uncovered if Donald Trump gets alive. So they're going to keep feeding nonsense to hope that they can sneak Kamala Harris in there to get rid of Donald Trump. I mean, they're trying to put him in jail, keep him off the ballot, try to kill him twice. There's something in there that I can't figure out. But it's on the American people. I don't know what's worse, the fact that the politicians, the media blatantly lie to your face, or half the country believes it. It's so weird. I mean, when guys like you or I step up and say something, they'll cancel us or change it, or obviously misinformation. Our fact checkers looked at this stuff. But I've traveled the world and I've seen a lot of stuff too, and it's amazing that they can say, October 7th didn't happen. They can, no, it didn't happen. Right in front of your face. Who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? Their hand could be in the cookie jar. Your hand's in the cookie jar. Oh, that's not my hand. These aren't cookies. Literally,
or they'll turn around on us.
It's insanity.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. And the good thing about us doing these podcasts, and you do a great podcast yourself, the Operator Podcast. We recommend it to everybody. It's a lot more fun than this one. This one's a little more serious. Rob has some more fun. He gets colorful. But they can't cancel us. But it's just mind blowing to me that you have these MSNBCs and CNNs of the world that just can't cover it honestly. Israel's under attack. Did they not have a right to defend themselves? And it's from all quarters, Rob. You have Iran. Hezbollah is a massive proxy from Iran. For people who don't realize, Hezbollah is the most heavily armed non-state actor in the world. By 2023, Hezbollah reportedly had 150,000 rockets and missiles. This isn't some small organization running military operations at facilities in Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. We all know. Tell the audience, if you will, Rob, what Yemen is known for.
Well, Yemen's got the Houthi rebels, and they're also funded by the Iranians. The Iranians are behind all of this. Hezbollah is their best. Hezbollah is they're one of the premier fighting forces in the world, and Israel knows when they go in there, they're going to have a rough time again. But this all comes back to Iran, and I would like people to consider Iran started stepping up Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, everything else in all the regions over there. Right as soon as we delivered billions of dollars of cash to them at nighttime for some reason, and when we lifted the sanctions on them so they can sell their oil to China. They're not helping their people out. They're funding terrorism. And don't forget, Hezbollah, where else are they? Well, they're in this country. They've crossed our borders, and they're here. And don't think they're not. And it's the fact that we can say it doesn't exist, and I don't want to be a fearmonger or a warmonger. I've been to war a whole bunch, and if I could cancel it all right now, believe me, I would. But again, there's those people in power that want to keep their power, and the way you keep people in power is by the powerful people in power is by keeping the serfs in check. And the media is just complicit. I mean, they've always been like this. We just only started finding out when social media got us all closer. And now what I'm finding out is it's a large planet. It's a small world, and I remember back in 2007, I'm watching TV, watching Iraq. 15 hours later, I'm in Iraq. It doesn't take you long to get there. It doesn't take them long to get to us.
Right. Yeah. I hear a lot of people from the left saying, well, what the hell is America doing in Israel? Why are they fighting Israel's war? I mean, well, there's a lot of reasons why we're over there in the first place. One of them, the most important, perhaps, being it's our only safe haven over in the Middle East. Well, before Trump, I mean, maybe now we can consider Egypt one of them. But, it's a very geographically beneficial place to America that we need. That's number one. Number two, what is Iran doing funding everything else? And that's the question I ask these people. Well, yeah, okay, America's funding Israel to protect them. But you got to remember, Iran, the number one sponsor of terrorists right now in this world is sending missiles. I mean, they're behind, like you said, every single thing that's happened. These people in Gaza don't have a damn pot to piss in. These fighters. Where are they getting the resources from, Rob?
The resources are coming from a lot of humanitarian aid BS, and we're sending them a bunch. Even Israel.
I mean the military. The military.
The Hamas military. Yeah, they're taking it from humanitarian aid. None of that's getting to the people. The Iranians are funding it, and then places like the UN are funding it. The Red Crescent, they're helping out. They're all complicit because they've been taught since they were little that Israel needs to get wiped off the face of the earth. And that's like, even when we try to broker these BS peaceful nuclear deals with Iran, we'll know when if they get a nuclear weapon, because Tel Aviv might be gone. There is no peaceful power going on here. And it's all because Israel, it gets biblical and stuff like that. But we need to defend Israel because there are actually two countries right now in between global dominance of the worst kind. That's Israel and America. And we've got to support them. And yet still we got half of the country that doesn't want to do it. And then not only don't want to do it, they're turning around. I didn't think I would ever see a day when, again, we're chasing after Jews. Like, what is this? What is the anti-Semitism? Why aren't Jewish students able to walk around campus wearing a Star of David without fear of being attacked? And it's all the same thing. It's all the same rhetoric. It's all we can go on and on how it's back in the day with the communism and how they wanted to infiltrate our schools, our entertainment. They're getting into our military, our hierarchy. They're on Capitol Hill, all that stuff too. And it's just scary when the political points become a harsh reality, and we're so close right now. That next attack in this country, and I don't mean just an assassination attempt. And how about that? Just being able to say, and I don't just mean there's been two assassination attempts. When the next major attack comes, when they wipe out a grid or we get hit by an electromagnetic pulse, and all of a sudden nothing you have works. I mean, I know you used to have TikTok, but now that your phone's down, can you make a fire and find water?
It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm so against war and everything. Since President Trump, I mean, before President Trump came in, I think maybe you're an exception because, this is where you come from. This is what you know best. But, I'm so against it. Before President Trump came in, I said, oh, maybe, we need to be here. Maybe we need to be there. But since him, coming in and shedding the light on, just what war does, I'm so against it. But with people like Iran, I mean, in your best judgment, what do you do with them? Do you sit back and do you wait? And I know, giving them $7 billion in cash doesn't really help the cause. But what do you do? I mean, do you sit back here and wait? Do you wait for them to do another proxy attack? Do you wait for them to hit us here at home?
No, you got to get to the people. The Iranian people are great. It's the regime that's horrible.
Right.
You got to get to the people, and the only way you're going to beat a lot of these groups is from within. So you need to get some of our special agencies, and we do have really good people out there doing it. You got to get in there, infiltrate, and it's got to be a coup from the inside. And I mean, obviously, we had a coup in this country. No one really did anything about it. But the problem is, it's happened in Iran before, where they start to rise up against the mullahs. All of a sudden, our media shuts it down, so no one knows, and then they start executing people. And that's the same way you can beat Hamas. I mean, they elected Hamas in 2005. It's like, but at some point, the people got to get sick of them. But I mean, with some of these weak Western governments, you'll see people escape places like Syria and go to Europe, and then Sharia law just follows them. Like the people got to do something. You can't just sit on your hands and hopefully tomorrow's better. Something's got to be done, but you can't wait for Iran to get a nuclear weapon, because if one nuclear missile gets launched in this world, I think that's the end of times, because everyone else is going to start launching. And by the way, it's not just nuclear weapons. Those are the most powerful things we had in the 50s. You should see the stuff we have now.
Yeah. And like you said, all it takes is one, and it takes one for anything. It takes one missile. It takes one migrant. It's just one, and that can, one person can do a lot of damn damage.
It takes one dude who wants to be a martyr to get strapped with a dirty bomb and go to Times Square. That's what.
And these guys don't care.
One guy that, hey, inject me with smallpox. I got a few weeks to kill a whole bunch of people in the United States. That kind of stuff. Or we can just drive by with this vehicle and microwave buildings, which they have the capability of doing. Very scary stuff. Yeah. But again, what are the Kardashians up to?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I want to take one more quick break here, Rob. When we come back, I want to talk some politics. You said the President Trump assassination attempt. 95% of major media network had negative coverage on the second assassination attempt. I mean, this has become, like we said, normalized. We're going to take a quick break and take that up on the other side of this break. Talking with former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill. We're coming right back.
When I started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, with the help of my dedicated employees, we now have hundreds of products, some you might not even know about. To get the word out, we're having a $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. And for the first time ever, our 6-pack towel sets, you guessed it, just $25. Our brand new 4-pack dish towels, $25. And I've never done this before. Premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, any size, any loft level, even king size for only $25. And there's so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code for our $25 extravaganza. Order $75 and over. Your entire order ships absolutely free.
We're back with Rob O'Neill, SEAL Team 6, famously known for the raid on Osama bin Laden and killing him. Rob, President Trump was at the Jewish Coalition in D.C. last week, telling Jewish voters they need to do better. Given they need more, he needs more than 40% of the Jewish vote to get in. I mean, if you look at his track record of everything he's done, if he wasn't president, I think from 2016 to 2020, you'd have seen this whole Israel thing, I think, backfire a lot sooner and maybe not even be here today.